Nation. I'm blessed to be joining you today for an important conversation that may just save your life. I'm your host, Pastor Julian Hobdy. Joining me today is Dr. Carolee Estelle, MD, an infectious disease physician at UT Southwestern Medical Center, and the Associate Chief of Infection Prevention at Parkland, and a member of CV Roman Medical Society. We also have Dr. Wendy Parnell, an OBGYN at Carlos and Parnell, and both of them are members of the Dallas County Medical Society and National Medical Association. We know that these last 18 months have been hard on a lot of you as we continue to fight COVID-19. There have been all kinds of media, rumors, and misinformation about COVID and the COVID vaccine circulating in our community. So today I have invited Dr. Estelle and Dr. Parnell to give us real answers to real questions. These are questions that a lot of you have asked or are wondering, so I wanted to bring in experts from our community to straighten things out for us. Dr. Estelle and Dr. Parnell treat our family members, friends, and neighbors, and have seen firsthand what COVID has done to people. They've also studied the science and are going to answer our top questions to dispel a number of rumors that you may have heard. Dr. Estelle and Dr. Parnell, welcome. Let me start off by asking you this question. All right, so from your perspective, this is a question that I definitely have heard. Which vaccine is the best? Which is the best way to go?
There is no vaccine that is better than the other in reality for what our goals are. If we take a look at what our goal is to prevent severe COVID infection that leads to complications like going to the hospital, ICU, and dying. And all three of the currently available vaccines in the U.S. do an excellent job at that. Collectively, all of them, the rate of breakthrough infections, or people who are getting COVID after having been fully vaccinated with any of those three, the rate of breakthrough infections is currently less than 0.007% for all of them combined. So they're all very, very, very effective at preventing complications from COVID. But you will still be at risk of potentially getting a positive test. What's really important is that you'll be more likely to have mild disease or not even know that you have it with no symptoms.
Sure. So another question, and this one is probably, I'm sure, near and dear to all of us. In communities of color, there's been a history of distrust with the medical profession and the community. So what would you say to be able to answer, how do we deal with this distrust to move forward with getting these vaccines?
Absolutely. And I think you have to honor the past and appreciate and recognize that there was valid reason for that mistrust for generations. And so I think communication and having the conversation is where we start. Recognizing that, thankfully, we're not in the same position we were, decades ago. We now include people of color in the research studies in a very equitable, ethical way. We now are making sure that researchers look like us. So behind the Moderna vaccine was a physician of color, and she was instrumental, and Dr. Corbett, in getting that vaccine to the shelves and in arms. So I think being a part of the process is very important, making sure we've still got physicians in the community having conversations like this to let you know that it is safe, and we are it's not them versus us. We are a part of that same community. Our grandparents, our great-grandparents have endured these same inequities in terms of healthcare, and so we are here to change that. And so as healthcare providers of color, we are here to make sure that we are equally taken care of, that we can avoid being in hospitals and making sure that our communities are safe.
It's awesome. So one final question, and this is, I'm just going to toss it up, whoever catches the alley, bring it on home for us. So Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King once said in his letter from a Birmingham jail that we are caught up in a network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever happens to one directly happens to all indirectly. What role does getting the vaccine play in our understanding of being community? That what happens to one directly happens to all of us indirectly.
I think that statement is never more true than it is now. It's always been true. That's why he said it. He observed it, right? And infections, infectious diseases, and really any medical condition that is taken care of by a community, which our medical facilities are, ultimately that is still true. But particularly when we talk about things that can spread from person to person. And so no matter what we do, if we don't take care of ourselves and if we don't protect ourselves from COVID, then we're also putting our friends and our family at risk. And by that same measure, if we don't protect certain communities in our global community, sure, then all of us are still at risk. That's local here in Texas and Dallas. That's also here in the US, and it's global. If we don't help protect and take care of our global neighbors around the world, we are still at risk for the next surge when we're talking about COVID, or the next pandemic when we're talking about the next disease that may be around the corner. And so in order to protect everyone, we must protect everyone, really. And I think that I think those words are very true for COVID, and I think they're very true really for all of the diseases and the inequities that we see, because imagine the advances that we could be making if we had always been as inclusive as we're being with the trials for COVID and the like.
All right, alley up, alley oop. So as we get ready to close this conversation, I want to say thank you for answering all of our questions and debunking the rumors we have all heard. I hope those of you watching today will take this information and share it with friends and family. The vaccine is free and available at almost every drugstore, grocery store, pharmacy, or community clinic. If you cannot locate a vaccine, go online to dshs.texas.gov/COVID vaccine to find a location. We can and we must protect ourselves. Please spread the word that getting vaccinated is the only way out of this pandemic. God bless you and be safe.